Great moments as a coach is starting to become even more distant. And that's the problem right here in this situation. Because this is a world of second chances. I get it. But no matter what people try and tell you and lie about second chances, 2 chances comes with 2 strikes. I'm going to say it again. 2 chances, you're at the plate with 2 strikes before you even take the next swing. Because people don't really forgive and forget. Oh, they remember. And guess what happens? In this situation, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're Jerry Jones, you're Stephen Jones, you're sitting there, last year, forget about it. But let them mess up again this year. All of a sudden, it starts to add up. All those things you thought they forgot, receipts. They start to say, okay, wait a minute. We're sorry this year, 2021. We only won 6 games last year. Then the 2 years before he came here as a head coach, losing seasons, didn't make the playoffs, and he had to take a coaching sabbatical just to get his mind right. Get his mind right, get his coaching philosophy right, and these are the results. So be careful if you're Mike McCarthy, because Dak Prescott just got paid. They hit that reset button when you get paid. Trust me, I know. So in the Mike McCarthy situation, if you don't hit the ground running this year, and they go back to last year's receipts, and then the last year's in Green Bay receipts, and then this mysterious coaching sabbatical, it's going to add up wrong for you, Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, Sal, you said it in the A block, bro. You said that you didn't think Dak Prescott had a ton of pressure because what are his ramifications if he struggles this year? That's fair. And if I want to extend that point, Mike McCarthy, if you don't make the playoffs this year, you're likely fired. Ooh. And who knows if you will be a head coach again. Why are you likely fired? Because who are the quarterbacks in the NFC East? Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts, question mark, or Ryan Fitzpatrick? You by far and away have the best quarterback in the NFC East. Mike McCarthy, you also may confirm the doubts that people already have about you. What are those doubts? Can you actually coach without Hall of Fame quarterbacks? Because remember, Mike McCarthy, your whole career, you done had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, 2 dudes that are in the Hall of Fame or going to be in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. You had 2 Hall of Fame elite caliber quarterbacks. But with Favre and Rodgers, you got a 64% winning percentage. Now, just with Aaron Rodgers, you still have a 64% winning percentage. But without them dudes, you only got a 37% winning percentage. People are starting to wonder, Mike McCarthy, can you really coach like that? Or did you just have some generational talents at the quarterback position? You got to win right here and now if you're Mike McCarthy, because if not, this is probably your last stop at a coaching stint because you will confirm the doubts people already have about you. McCarthy's under more pressure.
Wow, like look at both of you guys being in cahoots. You guys have been around each other too long, taking the same take, both guys going with the coach. I mean, I was initially prepared to go in here and say Mike McCarthy, but I feel like we're letting Dak Prescott skate without putting any pressure on him. I mean, we just paid him $40 million. We just said and recognized by paying him that we're saying he's a top 5 quarterback. Now, I'm in Dak Prescott's camp and thinking that he is an elite player. But there's some pressure that comes along with that big check. Now, I know that check has already been direct deposited, and so you feel good, you sleep comfortably at night, but there's still something about that internal pressure to prove it to everybody. Because when he walks onto the field, he knows it. He walks onto the practice field. Everybody's like, hey, man, Dak Prescott got that money. Dak Prescott a $40 million dude. When that ball starts skipping on the ground, people begin to wonder, hey, is Dak really that dude? That ankle doesn't look right. Is he really capable of putting us on his back? When we begin to add up some of the pieces that we may have to subtract because we have Dak making that money, there tends to be a little more pressure on him. So, yes, Mike McCarthy is definitely under the gun. This guy has not won double digits in terms of a season since 2016, and you are beginning to doubt if he can win without an elite or a Hall of Fame level quarterback. But there's definitely some pressure on Dak Prescott's shoulders to prove to people he is worth all of that $40 million that's coming his way this year.
Yeah, I hear you, Bucky, zigging when we're zagging up here. And I can do the same thing as you can. But at the same time, in priority, it's Mike McCarthy because the consequences are just graver for him versus Dak Prescott. Second chances don't start at square one. That's what I was saying in the earlier part of this discussion. Like, he's already on thin ice. Now, it's not a hot seat yet, but that hot seat can warm up this year and burn through that thin ice, and all of a sudden he's going to fall through and be gone. Think about it. His last 3 years as a coach, 7 wins, 4 wins, 6 wins. Now, it's not a hot seat yet, but that hot seat can warm up this year and burn through that thin ice, and all of a sudden he's going to fall through and be gone. Think about it. His last 3 years as a coach, 7 wins, 4 wins, 6 wins. Now, it's not a hot seat yet, but that hot seat can warm up this year and burn through that thin ice, and all of a sudden he's going to fall through and be gone. Think about it. His last 3 years as a coach, 7 wins, 4 wins, 6 wins. That Mike in 10 before in Green Bay. Y'all remember that year? And 2 years later, he was a Super Bowl champion. And then the year after that, they were even better with a 15-1 team that ran against that buzzsaw called the New York Football Giants that year. But the point being, he can climb himself out of this hole, but let's not even mistake that he's not in a hole right now.
Fellas, I think it can be deduced very succinctly by saying Dak Prescott has more units of measurement by which he can succeed. Mike McCarthy, the only way Mike McCarthy has a good season is very simple. How many games did the Cowboys win? You win a lot of games, you succeeded. You don't win a lot of games, you didn't succeed.
Yes.
But Dak Prescott, he got more units to succeed by. What I mean, Cowboys started off 1-3 with Dak Prescott last year. They sucked, were atrocious. But what everybody say? Dak Prescott's on pace to throw for 6,000 yards. Oh, my goodness. Did you see Dak? It wasn't Dak's fault. Even though against the Cleveland Browns, and the Browns scored 49 points, Dak turned the ball over. Against the Atlanta Falcons, when the Cowboys had to come back and win, Dak turned the ball over. Against the Seattle Seahawks, when the Cowboys had to come back just to lose, Dak turned the ball over. But still, we looked at the unit of measurement by which Dak could succeed. Let's go back to Dak's rookie season when Dak only threw for 3,000 yards and 23 touchdowns. But the Cowboys were 13-3. Dak got an MVP vote. My goodness, Dak Prescott commanded this team to a 13-3 record. It don't matter. As long as the Cowboys do well, Dak succeeds. If the Cowboys don't do well, but Dak balls, Dak succeeds. Mike McCarthy can win one way and one way only, the Cowboys' record. Dak has more units of measurement to succeed. As a result, he's better off than Mike McCarthy.
Say it.
I don't know about that. See, because here's what we do know. We know that Dak Prescott and his camp, they tend to be on Twitter. And sometimes they may see the clips of Emmanuel Acho going hot on Dak Prescott on Speak for Yourself. And he may not want to hear that umbrage because for so long, I think it was 2 years. You weren't part of that conversation for 2 years, but for 2 years, Dak Prescott couldn't get his money because he couldn't meet those metrics that you're talking about. First, it was, oh, he wins, but it's not because of him. Then it was, oh, our offense moves because of me. Yeah, but you don't win. So he is under pressure to now not only deliver the individual statistics, but now he got to deliver the dub. That is tough because this team still hasn't changed much. When you look at the free agent additions, they haven't added enough to say that this defense is going to be whole. And then with Dak Prescott coming off of that ankle injury, we still don't know if he's going to be the Dak Prescott that we last saw that was carted out of the stadium. So the pressure is on him because with this money comes greater expectations. And those greater expectations not only include him balling out of control where we can see him in the same light of Patrick Mahomes, but he also has to ball out of control where we see the Cowboys in the same light of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and other tournament participants. Is that going to happen? I don't know, but the pressure's on Dak Prescott to make sure that it does happen.
Nah, big dog, this is not about that. Nah, this is about trust issues. This has nothing to do with anything else, but who do you trust more? Do you trust a coach that hasn't had a winning season since 2016? Or do you trust a quarterback you just paid that has never had a losing season when he starts and finishes that same season healthy? And he's only been injured one season. So Dak Prescott always shows you if he's available, he's going to go out there and win ball games for you. It's a trust issues conversation because now you're going to bet on Dak. Like all of us up here, say what we want. You're going to bet on Dak in terms of who do you trust more to go out there and do their thing. Mike McCarthy as a coach, Super Bowl head coach, is he going to do that again this year? Or is Dak going to ball out and we'll see where the Cowboys take all of those yards and touchdowns? When you have a shorter leash, I'm talking about them real short leashes. Bucky knows about it, being in L.A. longer than Nacho. Them Venice Beach pit bull leashes, like, hey,